Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Episode 1. Falcon lets Cap's shield go to Captain Locker Room Talk, and the Winter Soldier gets therapy in extreme close-up. I'm gonna break down this episode shot by shot for all the hidden details, layers of meaning, occasionally far-reaching theories for what is really going on in this series. Here we go. We open on Sam Wilson ironing a dark suit as we hear...
How does it feel?
Like it's someone else's.
It isn't.
Words quoted from Avengers Endgame, the moment Old Man Cap handed off his shield to Sam.
How does it feel?
Like it's someone else's.
It isn't.
But the tone of this opening scene makes it seem like we're headed to Old Cap's funeral. And in a way, the ceremony Sam goes to is a kind of funeral, but for Cap's shield, which Sam does bury here, first in the metaphorical coffin of this art case that Steve kept it in, which at the time was a nod to his sketching hobby that he was always doing on the side, and then eventually to its resting place tomb of Cap's Smithsonian exhibit. The shield being a symbol for Steve Rogers getting unearthed disrespectfully in the final scene is a big reason why Sam feels so upset by it. Not just Indiana Jones saying, that belongs in a museum, but someone feeling like their buddy's corpse was dragged out, Weekend at Bernie's style. And back in that scene in Avengers Endgame, the uplifting music at the time made Sam feel hopeful, honored, ready in that moment. But now the exchange removed from that makes Sam come off as doubtful, overwhelmed, burdened. This legacy is the core theme of this series. What happens when the torch that you're passed is not a torch you ever wanted to bear, but rather a flame that you feel is best left to die down naturally? I should also point out that this shield is technically a new shield. Remember, Cap's historic shield was broken and destroyed by Thanos during the Battle of Earth. This one is a new design with new notches and engravings, if you look closely. Where did it come from? Well, Cap stayed in the 1940s with Peggy Carter, and according to the Endgame directors, he lived out his life in an alternate branch history, another timeline that unfolded off screen. So this redesigned shield could have all kinds of secrets that old Cap left for Sam specifically, including, many of us have theorized, it could be composed not of vibranium this time, but the original substance that it was in the comics, proto-adamantium. In a mission, Sam rescued Captain Vassant from a criminal organization called LAF, led by Georges Batroc, returning from Captain America the Winter Soldier. On the ground, Sam's contact is First Lieutenant Joaquin Torres, a name from the Marvel Comics. He's the guy who takes on the Falcon mantle briefly when Sam takes on the Cap mantle. So in the comics, Torres got his bird powers after being experimented on by a guy named Dr. Carl Malice, aka the Power Broker. Malice is a recurring Marvel villain in the comics. He's tied with Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, and Lamar Hoskins, Battlestar, who could be Clay Bennett's character in the series. Power Broker could be behind a lot of this, and if you were looking closely in the episode's closing credits, there was a warning saying Power Broker is watching. Sam dives into action off the plane, just like Tony Stark's entrance in Iron Man 2, and actually throughout this battle, his close-ups kind of parallel the HUD view framing used for Iron Man and War Machine. Great action here. Sam uses his thrusters to ram a dude's head into the crate. Louis the pilot gets a classic straight bullet hit the driver, oh no! Except this time he's given a love tap. There's a moment where a Batroc thumps his chest and then Sam responds by extending his wings. It's such a great macho aggression dance they're doing, like a simian chest thump and then an avian feather puff. Now you remember Sam's drone, Red Wing, named after his bird companion, Red Wing, but now the drone responds to Sam's voice commands.
Red Wing, get him off our ass!
Yeah, Red Wing totally just R2-D2'd with a bird-like whistle. Very nice. But then after the battle, Sam and Torres have this moment.
You could try to reroute that to the other.
Did you not?
Oh.
I've been working with the Air Force for 6 months now. Every time Ops touches him, he gets all glitchy.
Okay, so first off, 6 months, telling us this takes place 6 months after Endgame, about 5 months after the Westview anomaly of WandaVision, setting this around April 2024, which would be about 2 months before Spider-Man Far From Home. But more importantly, Sam's testy response. Now you could read this as a sign that Torres, as a potential successor to Sam in the Falcon title, is ready to take over Red Wing, or this could be Sam suspecting that the military has been sabotaging his tech before missions. Think about it, what was this mission? Sam was given hardly any backup on this dangerous hush-hush operation, and then surprise, surprise, the hijacking was already in progress, and it's all to save some captain before they get into Libyan airspace. Why? It's also suspect that Batroc is involved, because remember, that dude was actually paid by Nick Fury to capture the Lemurian star. There was a lot of double-crossing going on in Winter Soldier, which feels like is the case in this show. I'm very excited. Batroc led a whole sneaky military operation that specifically kept an Avenger in the blind from his own government. Look, I'm just saying, I would not be surprised if in the show Sam is being set up to fail, so that the government could replace him with Torres as Falcon, just like they have their own poster boy to replace Cap. Torres also suspiciously famously live streams everything, and he takes a mental note when he hears Sam speaking Arabic.
He knows Arabic. Wait, can you say that again? What was that?
And during this, Torres' app shows an AR symbol of the Flag Smashers.
Basically, they think that the world was better during the blip. Trust me, it wasn't. Trust me, every time something gets better for one group, it gets worse for another.
Sam gives his take on inequality, which does come back later this episode. And then Torres says this about the Flag Smashers.
Yeah, essentially, these people, they want a world that's unified without borders. So you can see why a lot of people are into that.
So the Flag Smashers get their name from Flag Smasher Carl Morgenthau, a Cap villain who has a similar philosophy. Aaron Kellyman is playing a character named Carly Morgenthau, probably the actual leader of this group. And then Torres asks what happened to Cap.
I do gotta ask you though, because like online, there's just been a lot of stuff about Steve. Actually, some people they think that he's in the secret base on the moon.
Well, I can assure you, those people you don't have to take seriously.
Don't have to take the online theorists seriously. Okay, ouch, I get it. But I bring it up because Torres is eager to know where Cap is. So if old Cap is not dead, where is he? Well, the moon's not that crazy of an answer in the MCU because there are Avengers currently in space. Nick Fury is aboard a Skrull space station alongside, it sounds like, Monica Rambeau now after that WandaVision post-credit scene. I'm just saying, this show did not have to bring up this mystery at all. So since it did in the opening episode, I think we can expect some kind of answer. Then moving on, boom, you're looking for Rhodey. He attends Sam's shield handing off ceremony.
We need new heroes. One suited for the times we're in.
You, Sam, I'm not that old. We see some relics from Cap's first film, his motorcycle, headlines about bombers hitting Hydra targets, the Howling Commandos uniform, Steve's 4F denial form, that Captain America #1 cover where Hitler gets punched, which they restaged during that USO tour sequence. But this exhibit has been updated with new MCU history. We see plaques reading Bucky Barnes, friend and brother killed in action, and then Winter Soldier from friend to foe, then a threat from within Hydra, the Sokovia Accords, a team divided. Also, the illuminated walls show symbols of the eagle from the Sokovian flag, the SHIELD logo, and the Hydra logo. But then Bucky's Civil War plaque reads, Captain America himself led this effort to bring Barnes to justice and later aided in the escape from custody, having been convinced of his innocence. Steve's loyalty to his old friend, coupled with his refusal to sign the Sokovia Accords, led to the dissolution of the Avengers, and drove the Captain into hiding with other like-minded Avengers, including Natasha Romanoff, Wanda Maximoff, and Sam Wilson. The current whereabouts of Barnes remains unknown, having been labeled a fugitive following his escape from custody. Then we get an Infinity War plaque showing Ebony Maw's Q-ship hovering over New York City, reading, out of hiding, New York under attack. Something. Former Avengers, including Natasha Romanoff, Wanda Maximoff, and Sam Wilson, was forced to operate off the grid and live a new life as fugitives after aiding and abetting accused Bonds. With some ties to S.H.I.E.L.D. and the intelligence community still intact, the team was forced to aid in the protection of Earth and its citizens. After 2 years of operating outside the law, a new threat from above brought Steve Rogers and his team out of hiding to once again join the fight. New York was under attack, and much like the events of 2012 that led to the forming of the Avengers, the threat was from another world. While the casualties, destruction, and impact of this event seemed to have much less of an impression as a whole, it wasn't until a short time later that the true effect of the damage was suffered. Referring to the, we all remember. And then we see a nice long list of names from the Vanished. MT actually helped me go through this, and a lot of these are real-life Marvel Studios employees. We got Victoria Alonso, executive producer for the show, Derek Kolstad, a writer for the series, Jack Lazaro, a key makeup artist, Frank Amoroso, a construction PA for Infinity War, Kelsey Liu, production and development manager, Phil Langdon, a storyboard artist for Homecoming and Far From Home, Sean Windish, a special effects for many Marvel titles, Denise Woodgard, a Dailies producer, Ben Woodworth, Marvel special effects artist, Noah Wellner, Marvel transportation, Courtney Young, the dialect coach, her name actually appeared in the WandaVision credits, Carolyn Jovetic, an assets coordinator, Kelly Zach, makeup artist, Lionel Zapien, a special effects tech, Chuck Slotnick, a Marvel photographer, Kaylin Littleton, Christopher Lucas, VFX artist, and Richard Lupton, VFX artist. There's probably more names after people here. But then we see the board for The Blip, followed by a plaque reading, a final mission. The vanishing resulted in the disappearance of half of all life in the universe. Captain America was unable to overcome the loss. After 5 years of drifting, Captain America and the remaining Avengers were able to regroup with a new plan to undo the damage inflicted by the Mad Titan known as Thanos. This time, Steve Rogers and his team were successful and able to save those that had vanished, but with some personal loss. With the death of Tony Stark, Steve Rogers honored his friend by finally laying down his shield, enjoying the things he had fought so hard to protect. And with this exhibit, we honor the life and legacy of Steve Rogers, Captain America, soldier, hero. Now, notice how this doesn't mention what Cap did in the time heist, either in the main time heist or the final trip he takes to return the stone. So, to the rest of the world, it's still a mystery where old Cap is, and the kids at Midtown High thought he was just dead or gone. Then Rhodey says,
World's a crazy place right now. People are, well, nobody's stable. Allies are now enemies. Alliances are all torn apart. The world's broken.
Yeah, the world is still a mess 6 months later, and these words kind of echo Fury's caution at the top of Captain America Winter Soldier. Trust no one, even the people you thought were allies. They're talking to you, Sam. You're being set up, buddy. And then this final shot, Sam's reflection is superimposed on the shield, paralleling that shot of Steve in the first Cap film, framing also seen in Doctor Strange and Into the Spider-Verse, a hero struggling to see himself fitting in that suit. And of course, this shield is on Sam's left. Bucky experiences a nightmare of a memory of a past Winter Soldier mission. I love how the opening shot of this hotel, you can see his shadow creeping across the ceiling. Creepy. And this music should also sound familiar. They brought back Henry Jackman, composer of Winter Soldier, and created this chilling, distorted cry for Bucky by himself screaming into a drum to evoke Bucky's scream as he fell into Hydra's clutches. Bucky delivers the kill with
Hail Hydra.
If Bucky gave this vaya con Dios to every kill, imagine Howard Stark and Maria Stark hearing Hail Hydra in their final moments. God. Bucky wakes from this nightmare sleeping on the floor, reminding us of Sam and Steve's chat before.
It's your bed, right?
What's that?
Your bed is too soft. When I was over there, I sleep on the ground, use rock for pillows like a caveman. Now I'm home, lying in my bed, and it's like...
lying on a marshmallow. I feel like I'm gonna sink right to the floor.
Director Kari Skogland frames Bucky's therapy oddly, first in front of this forest mural, springtime, the Winter Soldier melting away into spring, but then these uncomfortable extreme close-ups angled downward. This is to convey the claustrophobic anxiety Bucky feels in this moment, getting interrogated like that. Bucky talks about how he made amends with the corrupt Senator Atwood, former Hydra member, and he claims to have followed the 3 rules given to him by the therapist. Don't do anything illegal, don't hurt anyone, and repeat the mantra.
I am no longer the Winter Soldier,
I'm James Bucky Barnes,
and you're part of my efforts to make amends.
Also, fish off reins, not food. If you think about it, Bucky actually only followed the 3rd rule, but to be fair, that was probably the hardest one of the 3 for him to do so. And then he crosses Atwood off his list. Listing in a small notebook like this is another Cap parallel. Cap listed new things to learn, Bucky lists old things to fix. Now among these names is A. Rostov, maybe for Andrei Rostov, aka the Red Barbarian, a Soviet general and arms dealer in the comics. He wardened a gulag where Bucky was imprisoned and then later was killed in the Bahamas during a sale of the Zephyr Codes, assumed to be a Winter Soldier hit. P.W. Hauser is a name of the actor who co-starred alongside Sebastian Stan in I, Tonya. H. Hendrickson could refer to Hal Hendrickson, a soldier who got the Venom symbiote before Flash in later Marvel comics. And Kuznetsov could be a reference to the name of the Soviet scientist who created the Udarnik android. And then of course H. Zemo, for Helmut Zemo from Civil War, who is returning in the series as of yet a no-show, but he did frame Bucky and get the Avengers all broken up. Trailer footage shows Bucky coming face to face with Zemo. Cannot wait for that conversation. Then there's L. Kaminsky, could be for Len Kaminsky, comics writer, but what I love most about this shot is that in the very first frame of it, you can see a small glimpse of the next page, where at the top of that, Y. Nakajima, Yori Nakajima, the father of the bystander Bucky murdered in the hotel, literally the next name on Bucky's list. And this whole list is a reminder of Bucky's heartbreaking response to Tony in Civil War.
Do you even remember them?
I remember all of them.
But before we continue, thank you to Bang Energy for sponsoring this video. Every can of Bang Energy has 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and 0 artificial flavors. Each 16-ounce can contains 300 milligrams of caffeine, super creatine, CoQ10, and BCAAs. I am sipping on Rainbow Unicorn, not like those Thundercloud unicorns, the unicorns that make you feel happy when you sip them. It's just sweet and light, like you're on the back of a unicorn leaping over a more depressed unicorn. I honestly rely on Bangs when I'm shooting those early morning after shows, and I don't want my eyes to look like I'm half asleep. When I'm trying to break down these Easter eggs, I need my mind to be alert. Check out Bang on Instagram. You can get 10% off your order at bangenergy.com when you use the code NewRockstars10. Rainbow! There you can buy a variety pack of Bang Energy or grab a 12-pack of Citrus Twist, Bangster Berry, the new Delish Strawberry Kiss. Use my code NewRockstars10 and receive 10% off your Bang Energy order. That's code NewRockstars10 for 10% off. Bucky gets lunch with Mr. Nakajima, whom he adorably relates with as a fellow elderly man, down to reading the obituaries from the newspaper.
Take a look. Nobody made it past 90 this week.
So young. Such a shame.
And then Yori sees the mochi and remembers his son.
私の息子、あれ、大福大好きだったの。
Now, Bucky seems to understand Yori's Japanese, kind of like Sam. He's surprisingly multilingual, though I guess Bucky was an international assassin. He was also able to speak Romanian in Bucharest. Now, Yori's sadness here triggers Bucky's Winter Soldier past again. You can tell by this music sting. But it softens right as Bucky blinks. See, only by blinking can Bucky quiet the scream. Giving context to that trailer clip where he's mocked for never blinking.
Just blink, sweet Jesus. I mean, how old are you?
It's because he never forgets. Sam visits his family in Louisiana, his 2 nephews and his sister Sarah.
Uncle Sam!
What's up?
That's right. Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I love how Sarah paints Sam as a US military propaganda tool, despite Sam turning down that legacy. And when it comes to this whole boat stuff, you wish Vision was here. He could totally help Sam make this boat profitable. All you have to do is dismantle this vessel plank by plank and build a second ship of Theseus out of it that they could write off as a business expense. On a date with Leah, the sushi server, Bucky gets into a cat fight. And then some awkward small talk.
What are you doing?
I'm reading your mind.
Please don't.
Yeah, Bucky is warning, you don't want to know what's going on in my mind, but also, hey, lady, I spent decades with people controlling my mind. Stay out of it. Meanwhile, Torres flash mobs with the Flag Smashers who rob this Swiss bank. Switzerland, of course, is the home country of Arnim Zola. Hashtag Zola train. But really, Swiss banks have the reputation of looking the other way for criminal enterprises. So I'm wondering if the Flag Smashers could be ripping off a crime lord here. Maybe someone headquartered in Madripoor. We'll see. Sam and Sarah are denied a bank loan from the douchiest banker.
How do you guys make a living? I mean, your financials are all over the place. Is there some kind of fund for heroes, or did Stark pay you when he was around? My condolences, by the way.
The Avengers' income and expenses has been a recurring question for the MCU. In the comics, it's reported that they make 6-figure salaries via government contracts, but it was never really clear how Team Cap runaways got by for 2 years on the run. My guess was that T'Challa could have hooked them up with funding, given Steve and T'Challa's arrangement after Civil War. Sam refuses to give up and sell the family boat.
We're not selling our family's legacy.
This parallels Sam's feelings about Cap's shield. Sam got a rude awakening about how your rightful legacy can be unfairly taken from you. You can't just preserve these things in stone for whenever he wants to go home to visit them. Legacy is something you have to work and fight to preserve. He has to do it with the Wilson family boat, and he's got to do it with the shield. Sam and Torres discuss the Flag Smashers.
Anything else happen outside the video?
Nah, man, my face was in the dirt before I knew what was happening. Why? What are you thinking?
Nothing.
Wait, you don't think he could be a...
Look, I'll circle back to you. Let's keep this between me and you.
What? I feel like we're back with Westview Herb here. She came here because we're all what? Wait, did we ever find out? We're all trapped in Wanda's hex reality, but at this particular moment being additionally puppeted by Agatha, and Agatha's only pretending to be nervous here. I'm still trying to unpack all the layers of that. He may have been about to say that the Flag Smasher's super strength is a result of Super Soldier serum, since we know from the Winter Soldier program that other batches of serum were out there, and back in Phase 1, Thaddeus Ross was trying to reboot Cap's Super Soldier program, which led to Hulk and Abomination. That might also explain the Flag Smasher's disaffected political views, like with worldwide anarchy, there's no government that can weaponize you. And this could support the theory that Ross has a secret replacement Avengers team called the Thunderbolts. Now, I've also made the case for mutants, like perhaps the events of Endgame finally activated the mutant gene in certain members of the population, or if this power broker Malice is behind this, these could be enhanced humans from his experiments. Now, the press conference plays on WHIH, the MCU news service. We saw that in WandaVision. And then they introduce the new Captain America, John Walker, played by Wyatt Russell. Now, in the comics, John Walker goes by Super Patriot, aka US Agent. He's a wrestler turned vigilante, aiming to take over the Cap mantle. He's kind of a jerk. Now, this same government official who introduced him previously told Sam that handing in the shield was the right thing to do. Obviously, this guy and the whole government never intended to keep it in the museum, which feeds my suspicion that the government is setting up Sam to fail. They are not on his side. And then Walker freaking winks at us, a coy little FU to Sam, and something we learned from Agatha Harkness, not a trustworthy sign at all. Getting some major Homelander vibes here. But more importantly, on his hip is a gun. Now, Cap used a gun in World War II. It was a World War but he didn't really use one in the modern era. His shield was his primary weapon. So the fact that Walker has a gun right now tells us that he and his handlers really want to revert Cap to a propaganda tool that he was in the 40s. But more worrisome that they do not appreciate the true worth of this shield in his hands. Now the end credits actually reveal a lot of clues in the form of this graffiti and wall art, old Uncle Sam and Cap propaganda posters, a beastly figure with Chinese lettering, maybe a sign of that Bronze Monkey Club in Madripoor, an Illuminati eye, maybe a nod to the Cap-related conspiracy theories out there, graffiti from the Flag Smashers, One World People. There's a headline saying Shadow Group pulls off weapons heist, which could refer to the Flag Smashers, and then a search log for Subject 02656. And then right next to this subject form is the face of Carl Lumley, who was rumored to be in this cast. A lot of us believe that he could be playing Isaiah Bradley, the original Black Cap, whose history was kind of erased. This legacy seems to be something that's going to be very important to Sam going forward. How do you reconcile these two things? Also, we see another headline related to this that says all information regarding the Enhanced Humans Act has been reported to be classified by Major Donovan of Special Unit something. So yeah, maybe there was some secret government program to enhance humans that we haven't been told about yet. This could be what Thaddeus Ross was working on. Someone who knows, he was Secretary of State before, he might be President Ross now. He could be the president who issued that pardon and selected this new replacement Cap. Maybe he had some Thunderbolts-esque enhancement program involving the power broker. We also see the text Agent 13, that's referencing Sharon Carter. Then we see Public Law 10756. The nation is called upon to recognize the patriotism of fellow citizens from all ethnic, racial, and religious. This is a reference to government code that says that the military is not allowed to discriminate based off of any of these things. Something that could also be related to the history of Black Cap. Then a headline, Masked Man plagues downtown Prague, which could be referencing Zemo or Taskmaster from the Black Widow film, who seems like a masked figure who could be terrorizing these Eastern European cities. Then conditions of release. You must appear in court when ordered. You must obey all court orders. You must notify 24 hours before moving. This seems to be conditions of Bucky's pardon, or maybe the conditions of Zemo's release. Then we see the date December 16th, 1991. That's a date Bucky killed Howard Stark and Maria Stark. Also, there's later a mission report from Hydra where it mentions Long Island, New York, where this took place. Then a postcard from Madripoor. But then the most interesting one to me, something that looks like a bullet casing containing a blue fluid, maybe darts containing super soldier serum. The text before the title comes up, where do we go now that they're gone? Where do we go now that they're gone? Of course, it was with a text on the poster in Steve Rogers' support group in Endgame. And then outlines of people with half of them filled in black, maybe for half of the vanished persons. And then again, Power Broker is watching. Then something that says District of Columbia Support Group check-in. That's Sam's veterans group that he does counseling with. Then a headline that says Senator Atwood pushes for perimeter border enforcement. So maybe the senator that Bucky got arrested was pushing for some border enforcement there. Then this interesting thing, Article 33, no contracting state shall expel or return a refugee in any manner whatsoever. This actually comes from the UN Refugee Agency, a condition that was published in 1977, informing what participating nation states should do with refugees. Maybe a little political statement from the show right here, something that might play an important role in this show. Maybe some of these Flag Smashers were rejected refugees. And then some text that says must reveal their legal names and true identities to the United Nations. I assume this is from the Sokovia Accords. We get a US Army poster for John Walker. Cap is back. But then someone tagged on him manufactured hero. So even they know this guy is a phony propaganda tool. And then missing posters for loved ones lost in the blip, paper peeling back to show the Winter Soldier activation code words, and then the purple mask of Zemo. Hopefully someone we will see next episode. And then a quick flashing of text, if you look closely, reading, enhanced individuals won't save us. Quite an interesting slogan. Who wrote this? Where is it coming from? Maybe some government propaganda. They don't want us to trust Avengers anymore. Trust our new team of homegrown heroes. And these words inspired our merch partners for our new latest obsession shirt. You can get that at newrockstarsmerch.com. Whenever you do, you'll get the added option to write in a custom shout out that will appear on screen during our Inside Marvel Falcon Winter Soldier after shows. And folks, a big channel announcement that I'm very nervous about. This Sunday, 2 days from now, we will be launching the first episode of a new series from the mind of Philip Molina called Fitness Origins. Philip roped Tommy and me into a 12-week fitness challenge inspired by the heroes of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Philip's challenges are crazy and a bit terrifying. I honestly have no idea what's going on with the show, but I can promise you, you will get to see a very fragile side of me. Given any of you hate watching these videos, plenty of clips to drag my very tired, bloated corpse on Twitter. So follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for everything Marvel. Thank you for watching. Bye.